We're back on the Kyle Lodi Sports and the Thunder Show, the podcast edition, very first episode. That's right, 89.5, which we used to be on. Now it's the Kyle Lodi Sports and Thunder Show podcast every Friday from 10 to 12. That's right. And we got a phone caller. It's probably the same caller.
Welcome back. Welcome to the podcast. How can we help you?
Okay, there we go. All right, so now we are gonna get to some. Okay, let me turn this music off here real quick. There we go. And right now we are gonna talk about a little bit of baseball, which
Baseball?
Yes,
Baseball.
Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
From going from last year and going on to this season, which we 2013, and we're gonna have big expectations. So Nick, let's start with you. What are your big expectations for 2013?
Well, I'm hoping to see another good season out of the Redbirds, of course.
Here we go again, being biased. Don't be biased now.
But
it's not cool.
But I am going to say this.
We may have to. Yeah, we're gonna have to.
But I am going to say this. There is a team out there that I actually am saying that could potentially do it again. I hope. I'm saying, as I'm a Cardinals fan, I hope they don't. But
the Giants.
The Giants have a potential of doing it again. But this time.
So they got rid of some key players though.
One of them is
Pagan's back though.
But Lincecum's gone.
No, Lincecum's not gone. He's still there.
From what I heard, he was getting traded.
I don't know what you heard, but I don't think he's. I think he's still with the team.
But he also he cut his hair.
I saw that in a photo.
Yeah. But another team out there that I'm actually kind of worried about too is potentially because they're getting stronger too. Another California team, would I have to say, the A's.
The A's, they're young, they're scrappy, and they got a lot of good talent on the team, and especially with the pitching side.
Yeah, but if we go up north one of the hardcore teams up north, and that's at Safeco Field.
The Seattle Mariners.
The Mariners. Yeah, you can't tell me that you can't say that you haven't seen from last year to this year how they're developing. They're picking up players that they need, and
Felix Hernandez, he beat out CC Sabatia's contract for the most money in years in Major League Baseball history, the pitching side. I think another team, you were actually mentioning this earlier, you were talking about the White Sox. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, from what I've been hearing, too, is the White Sox are actually picking up have picked up, I'm not sure the whole story. I read some of it, but I had to go meet you, so I didn't get a chance to read the whole story or hear the whole story. But I've heard that the White Sox are actually picking up some players, and they've actually said that they are going to do a new training process that they haven't done in years. And they're going to concentrate on bringing their pitching staff up, and they said that they're going to try to make themselves better than the Red Sox.
That's pretty interesting.
From what I've heard,
it could be possible. I'm not disagreeing there, but the Red Sox, though, I mean, without the proper, I mean, they used to have the players, and then now they're kind of mediocre now. It's like it's more the Rays and the Yankees now.
Oh man, the Rays.
The Yankees are obviously the superior team in the AL East, and then you have the Rays, and then actually the Baltimore Orioles. I could put them ahead of the Red Sox. What do you think?
Yeah, I could see that too. But another team I could possibly see it going ahead of the Red Sox too. But I'm just saying this too, and they're up.
Chris is back. Let's just limit the noise. We gotta limit the noise on the.
Yeah, we'll just put them on speaker. Hold on.
There we go.
There you go.
Yeah, we gotta limit the noise there, Chris. Remember that.
But the other stuff. Another thing I'm saying too, a team that could be a potential up there too. Even though they're not as good as everyone thinks they are, but they're up north and they're a little beyond our border. But I'm gonna say Toronto has the potential too.
Toronto, it could happen.
If they just develop a little bit more. But let's go ahead and look at the South Side Secret because
this is your little story
that I've actually heard, and it's actually from what I've heard it's gonna be one of them. It's like the White Sox are really looking like a team that could have the potential. What do you think, Kyle?
Well, they got to overmatch the Tigers and obviously maybe the Cleveland Indians. But let's get more into this little story right here. Turn it up. Oh, it's kind of soft volume. I don't know if anybody can hear it, but
at this point, is there no way to rush a schedule? It just is what it is.
Talking about rushing a schedule.
Yeah. I mean, we're having to be patient with that because I think even when the games start, you want to throw guys in
check the volume on here too.
Everything's good. So mostly, okay, I know some probably can't hear it, but what he's trying to say is you're going to try to be patient and just work it out.
Yeah, and develop, but
I mean, I still think the Tigers are probably going to come out on the AL Central.
the Tigers are a team that I've actually, they've gone from being a more of a fielding team, though I have seen, they've actually become more of a, in my opinion.
They did go to the World Series after all.
They did, but they have become more of a pitching catching team than they have. Their
Justin Verlander, Cy Young winner, and then obviously Prince Fielder's obviously number one guy, the hitter on their team, and then you got like just absolutely just phenomenal players who actually just want to go out there, talk baseball, play baseball, and just want to have fun and win games.
Well, if you look at Detroit, it
saving a few bucks.
It is in fact a.
Let me turn this off. There we go.
If you look at Detroit, it is in fact known for mostly. Yes, it has the Pistons, but but it's known for two sports, mostly. It is known as a hockey and baseball city.
Okay, which makes sense.
But in my opinion, though, if you look at the city, the fan base for hockey is bigger than baseball, but the baseball is still there. The problem is with the Tigers is that they're losing what they were from the past, which was a team that was a no-nonsense killer. Like, if you look at the Tigers from 1970s all the way till the 1990s.
Yeah, I got you.
They were that team. Even you have to admit, just the name Tigers would send a chill down your back. But now it's
LSU Tigers and obviously the Auburn Tigers.
Yes, but
yeah,
in baseball,
but that's college sports.
But in baseball, if you look at the Tigers, in baseball, from the 70s all the way to now, if you look at them, throw that time base in the 90s, 70s, 80s, 90s. If you look at them, they were dangerous as heck. And when they went to the World Series, they were the dangerous team. Because even though we know who won, but even though who won the World Series, but if you look at them, they came out there and they had the fielding and they had the hitting, which made them a team that just go out there and even the umpire would be like, okay, I'm going to go find me another place to go call. You know,
okay.
Because you look at them, even you have to admit that. You look at them, they were just that team, like the coaching and everything is just that team. Like, let's not mess with the Tigers.
Let's talk. Okay, so moving on to the National League, let's talk about some team that made some really big signings in the off season in California. Zach Greinke signing with the Dodgers, and obviously they signed that Ryu guy from Korea. They signed him for a pretty good chunk of. And they said he's got like I think with Scott Boras said something about the Ryu, saying that he's really unpredictable.
Oh, he is. He is. I've actually looked at.
I think it was his slider or was it his sinker? I think it might have been his slider.
It's his slider, but I looked at his mind. I've looked at the MLB.com and I've looked at some of his Korean, like, because you can look at international the teams from international.
But he's really talented though.
He is, and the way he throws, his middle finger.
I think I remember seeing that. He curls it and then
he curls it like this whole part is just curled,
it's like
and he holds it. Yeah, it's like that. It's exactly like that. And
I remember seeing that.
Yeah, that right there. When I saw him throw that is weird because the pitch doesn't go like a it doesn't go normal.
And then unlike last year, the Dodgers are now deep in pitching.
They are.
Kershaw and then Greinke, you got two Cy Young Award winners. And then you have, if Josh Beckett can get back to his old form, then maybe he could probably do some damage somewhere along the line, maybe like 10, 11 wins somewhere around there.
But the one thing
and then you got Chad Billingsley. He's solid, but he's more of an up and down kind of pitcher.
He is. But the one thing I am also
but
concerned
actually,
about,
this is an interesting question though. They have no reliever, but they have like so many starting pitchers and all. But do you think somebody could be a closer out of that starting pitching staff like Gagne did? I mean, what do you see?
It could be. You could have that closing situation, Kyle. But the problem I'm seeing with the Dodgers, and I know
they're fielding.
Yes,
they're fielding. Yeah, I mean,
and their catchers They're
The catching's okay, but the fielding's kind of where it's the problem.
Kyle, the Dodgers are, and I'm saying this about the organization, not the team itself. The organization is calling up players too fast. And their minor league clubs the players are playing for maybe 10 or 12 games in each division, and they're going up. They're not letting them develop, and your catchers are not perfect. Like last year, you have to.
Yeah, but last year that was last year.
But I'm saying
this year they got a lot more time to communicate.
They need to, and they need to. But the thing is, the catchers weren't doing like they should do, and they still, and the same guy was coaching last year for the pitching and catching coach is still coaching this year, and I'm worried that he's gonna do that again. He's gonna bring up someone from the minor league club as a catcher, and that catcher is not gonna have enough time to study the pitches. And it's going to wind up being one of them things where they're making the bad calls. And even you admitted it that the calls.
Yeah, the calls.
They weren't getting the right pitches called for that particular style of hitting.
I mean, even when they got Adrian Gonzalez, Josh Beckett, and Carl Crawford. I mean, Carl Crawford's obviously getting off of Tommy John surgery.
Yes,
I believe. Yeah, or somewhere around that. Or I could be thinking of somebody else. I don't know. But overall, I mean, they got more time. I mean, they got the guys in a month. And then that's why they kept losing all those games, because they didn't have that team chemistry. And then trying to catch up all in a month with the Giants, obviously World Series champs. I mean, they didn't have enough to catch up.
Nope.
But now that they got all these months going after their off season started, all of these months trying to go ahead of time, they got so much time to practice and communicate with each other and just have a good time. And right now, I mean, let me ask you something. How many games do you think the Dodgers will win? 90 to 94, or do you think they'll go 95 plus?
I think they might have a potential for 94, just for the fact that I'm not sure. I'm still not convinced that their pitching coach is the right guy. I think that he may need to go, and you may need to bring in, like you did with your hitting coach,
like Mark McGwire. Obviously, was it a good call though for the Dodgers to hire him?
Oh, of course, even though he was a former Cardinal. But if you look at Mark McGwire. And I'm saying this, I love Mark McGwire because I grew up watching him when I was younger. But the fact is, he's actually
Oakland Athletics guy. Then he met the Cardinals.
Yes, but he's going to bring something to your team that you did not have. And what is that? Discipline.
And I absolutely agree with the discipline part. I mean, he did have discipline before he went on the roids, that is. But overall, I mean, if we get it if our pitching goes well as it's like it says on paper, I think we got a pretty good shot at 95 plus. But I'm not saying it personally because I'm a Dodger. I mean, I hope that, but I would say as an unbiased sports guy, I would say 90 to 94.
Yes, and plus also, Kyle, if you remember too, the reason why originally, for all those people that don't know, Mark McGwire originally went on steroids because of the fact that he had a muscle dislocate. He had a muscle that popped out, and they had to surgically replace it, and he was not supposed to continue, but he was on there temporarily to help the muscle develop back to where it was. But then he went on it, overdid it, and it did not do as well. It did not. He got addicted to it, and eventually wound up having to got in trouble for it and everything as well.
So with that said, we're going to take a commercial break. When we come back, we are going to have some birthday shout-outs. So we got some birthdays. So you got anybody you know you gonna have your birthday shout out to, Nick, or do you want to leave it for the break?
We'll leave it for the break, Kyle.
Smart call. So with that said, we'll be right back. Kyle Lawler Sports Thunder Show podcast, very first episode, hour number 2 coming up. We'll be right back.
Wish I was with her as she whispers, damn, I love you, mister. Bad like a habit, sweeter than the Swisher.